Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Play Arms Trade Tycoon Tanks, episode number 6, I think. Oh, have you noticed that my voice has slowly been progressing throughout the series? I'm slowly getting better. So these coughs, they really linger. Anyway, this is going to be a real shift of gears. We're going to kind of change up the whole pace of the series at this point, and because of that, I'm going to go much faster. I'm also planning, so I'm not even sure how many episodes we have left in the series. Maybe only one more after this, maybe two. Because right now I've been doing a private playthrough. I just love this game so much. I have two game playthroughs going on, always, right? I've restarted though. I have this one, of course, the YouTube series, but I also have a private one. And in that, I've made it all the way through some battles and stuff, and I made it a lot further. I saw some things which, you know, is going to spoil the surprise for me a little bit in our series here, but that's not a big deal. And one of the takeaways I found is that it's not really important to have anybody but researchers from the point where we are onward. Not for a very long time, and at that point we can just buy new engineers. Essentially what we'll want is to have a lot of research already done, which we'll just continue to push hard on. Now, that means that we may want to think about rolling off the engineers even after they complete this medium Hornet design. I don't really remember how much more we have to do. It's not that I really need to save money because we've been winning those contracts. And there's a few things we want to do right off the bat. So, material storage. This is actually going to be kind of important. One, I now know that the material cost is going to go up when World War I starts, and that's imminent, let's say, which is not surprising. So let's just make sure that we get all the stuff we can now. Which means for sadly, what we've wasted our time doing is these loading stations, and this would have been a fantastic idea if we were living in the past, when the time for a truck delivery was like, I don't know, like 17 days, 14 days. Did they have it? It was probably 14 days. Then it would have taken a day off, and that would have been noticeable. But a 10% reduction of the truck delivery time is less than 1 day, so you don't notice any impact. Basically, we have to go up 20% before we even get 1 day taken off our truck delivery time. So that is basically a huge waste of money, huge waste of maintenance, just a total waste of an upgrade. So I suspect that those kind of things will be rebalanced as time goes on, because right now it's effectively just a useless upgrade. And now it becomes useful if you go to level 2, because then you get 1 day off the truck delivery, but honestly, going from 7 to 6 is not that big of a deal. Unless they started counting like half days or something. I don't know how they'd solve it, because really what you need is more discrete time points. So effectively their old system was better, having more days. If you slow down everything. Now the progression of World War I in this game is actually pretty quick, so maybe slowing down World War I would make some sense. I mean, they have tanks in the very first battles, as we'll see. Okay, enough talking. Let's go on with purchasing materials. So we're going to want to purchase a lot of materials. What I would love to have done is have material storage available. Since I don't, we're just going to have to kind of take what we think we'll need. Now, unfortunately, what we're going to be building a whole lot of from here on in is this medium light whippet. And we can see that this actually has a really high demand for rubber of all things. So we need to make sure our rubber and our medium carbon steel are in very good supply. Right now, even the iron and the high carbon steel are like, they are still high demand, so we need a little bit of everything. So for that, what I want to do is max out my high carbon steel, 10,400, 10.8. So let's just quickly look at the prices. It's 2.8 for high carbon steel, because the prices are going to go up soon. And the safety factor is just terrible for rubber. My God, it's just terrible. So rubber is actually a very important thing to pick up quickly, because although the price is lower, we have to buy more of it because the safety factor is lower. Whereas this one, it's like a guaranteed delivery. So that's quite good. Okay, then medium carbon steel. This is another one that we're going to need a lot of. And this is going to be pretty cheap, so we might be able to buy this later. And iron is the cheapest, so it's the easiest to buy later. Okay, so let's just get like maybe 2,500. I'll stop whenever I'm close to rounding. Okay, there it is. Let's just get 2,500 iron for now. That'll arrive in 6 days. let's get a lot of medium carbon steel. I think we'll just clean the bank out. Now that'll put us at 15,000 remaining. Maybe we'll go... Okay, so how much are we going to get of rubber? We're going to need to order a lot of rubber because it's not going to arrive. In fact, no, I mean, it is still a better deal to do the China thing, so we'll have to do it. But high carbon steel, this is, I think this is, since it's the most expensive, the one we're going to have to do. And I just want to take all the rest of the reserves out here, which I probably should have just done last time. So this will be a bit of an expensive opener. But yeah, let's just do this. And that's the thing we are lowest on anyway. Okay. Then rubber, yeah, we need a lot of this. So honestly, okay, so we didn't get medium carbon steel yet. We didn't. So this is going to be 4 days, very quick to get. So almost all of this will arrive. I do have I think that this is actually not that bad of a deal to just get a ton of this right now. We also have the most of this, so from that perspective we don't need as much. But if we do 6,000, that'll leave like 6,000 for rubber, and that should be okay. Yeah, it's interesting that we just won't need any of the other tank designs, at least as far as I've played in my other. I mean, everything I've seen means that, or indicates that the two playthroughs are identical. So we'll buy 6,000. We have basically like just about 6,000 we can buy. So we'll get as much as we can of the rubber. Okay, good enough. Alright, there we go. So that's going to be a lot of orders. Money's dropped down to almost 200,000, but we're about to complete another contract that's due in 6 days, or 16 days. Now note our production is only going to finish in 7 days, which means we have 9 days to spare. But it's a little bit weird. Although the math here seems to work out that we'd have 9 days, right? 7 plus 9 is equal to 16. So it seems like we have 9 days of slop, but what I found is we end up finishing the contract on the same day. Is that going to be the right thing or not? Okay, so as far as other stuff goes, what I think we'll want to do is, yeah, we're going to just do a few engineering designs and then get rid of our engineers. So durable parts research is complete. This is still going to be the one that we max with 40. Now we did durable parts, which is what? Power units? Yeah, durable parts just finished. We could get V-shape engine. Actually, I don't think we need that one as much. With the new percent-based weight addition, it's not 50 pound or 50 kilograms for the different tech. Adding the little text, the things that add reliability or that add agility. Typically what we've been doing is adding armor to them. So it'd be like this, adding whole front armor, angle armor. So this is now has been moved to like a percent weight based increase, which means that one of the benefits is, by the way, I still think it makes a lot of sense, even though it means that there's not a whole lot of weight gain on something like the guns. They probably just need to increase the percentage increase on guns and probably decrease it on like the hulls, which ends up being like 200 for a single point of something, which is, I mean, there's just some asymmetry in the game. Unless they think that whole armor is worth less than turret armor, because that's the way it is right now. Turret armor is much cheaper weight-wise to add for the same potential effect than whole armor. But I don't know. Anyway, so I'm getting long-winded discussions. Let's just push on. Yeah, I think what I want to go with is the mobility running track. Yeah, so there are lots of things we want to focus on, but I feel like these iron tracks and like these kind of things for the power unit, the running gear, I should say, is very important. So I want to get this stuff, and I want to get the better, like, I have the best components for a lot of things, but the places I don't have the best components for, definitely in running gears. So let's do this. And I'm not even going to concern myself with, oh yeah, so this is a perfect case where we actually do want 40, so I need to buy an engineer just for 1 day. So we can get that down to 4. Go. Alright, and then probably the rest of these engineers are going to lose their jobs right before the end of the month. Excuse me. Alright, medium hornet done. Now let me take a look. Okay, 5 prototypes were delivered, and we have 3 more. I really wish I could deliver more than this. It turns out that the number you deliver is the entire tank squadron. It doesn't really make sense to me. Alright, we finished our medium whippet, so let's go ahead and submit that design. Anyway, this is, although it was a bit of a slow start, we're going to have some fun in this episode. There's going to be some really interesting stuff which happens. Maybe if we can push along fast enough, and it looks like we might even be able to get to combat, which is pretty cool. Alright, so I'm submitting that design, even though... Actually, I do think that this is still a fine design. You really can't do much better than this, other than by putting on the other turret. But we're not going to have a chance to... I don't think we'll... Well, maybe... Okay, I haven't tried this. I don't think we're going to have a chance to redesign that light medium whippet in time for production. And I don't know if it really needs to be done or not. So the thing is, what I found in the battles is you're still, even though these tanks are being built for anti-infantry, I mean for infantry support, I mean they're basically not built to go anti-tank. Except for the one exception, which is the Mark V I have, the Mark V prototype. But all the other tanks have been supposedly for soft attack, but I end up going against tanks. So they're not going to serve their role very well. Since, I mean, they're serving their role well, they're just not fighting in their role, which is unfortunate. Okay, 2 days, we do have the 18 engineers. Let me just take a look and see if there's anything I want to do right before we let all these guys go, because we do have a few days left. So we have a medium Hornet contract now. I think that there is a rear cab upgrade that I would like to do, basically just throw on all the extra stuff. Yeah, we can do one with radio, which is down crew comfort, but up everything else. Or I could do the tank intercom. It's basically the difference between +3 to spotting, awareness, +1 to aiming, that's very good, and +1 to safety. Only -1 to comfort. So I think this is the better option. Let's choose it. Pigeon ports to the side. I don't know if this is as important. It does take away armor, so I think I won't choose that. The reinforced rivets do reliability, but minus repairability, up crew safety. That's a tough one. If one of the other options was available, and we can see by the lock thing, it's just not available in the demo, this might be interesting, but 185 is pretty expensive, so let's not do that one. Okay, we have front and rear. We could put the perforated hinge visors in if we had researched that, but we haven't. So that means that this will only have these two things. However, we also have the tempered steel plates, which is +2%. This is where I said that probably this needs to be revised a little bit. Maybe it needs to be a flat kilograms and a percentage. I mean, the number games here are just a lot of fun to think about. If you don't have fun thinking about how the percentage, how this kilogram should be applied realistically in a more realistic manner, what are you doing watching these videos? It's the kind of stuff that's really fun to think about. So in this one, it only happens to be a pretty cheap 20, I think. Oh, I got that wrong. Wait, no. 1090 goes up to 1111, so it goes up by 22 basically. So this is super cheap to get a lot of turret armor. Yeah, so it's like a no-brainer to just increase this basically as much as we can. And the two things I'd like to do are sides and the top. So we got all of our engineering points worth. It doesn't actually add that much weight. This is obviously a lot heavier than the other rear cab we did, but I think it's a really good medium cab. So this is in preparation for a later tank, which we haven't designed yet. Is it worth it to get the extra reliability? Well, the 185 will also be the percentage-based increase, so I don't think so. We're going to skip reliability on this one, sorry to say. And this will be done in 1 day, so that'll be quick. Yeah, we'll take that for free. Alright, so it looks like... let's do the math on this. I'm always interested in knowing. 5128 divided by 6. This was 85%, so it looks like we did a little bit better than... I mean, my goal is to get above the halfway mark between this number and 100. Because I'm assuming it's a linear distribution, just a uniform distribution between 80 and 100, and in which case, if that is the case... Actually, I have questions for the developer, because I'm guessing it's not. Because I keep getting screwed, less than the halfway point. So maybe there's some kind of like interesting probability distribution, which another one of those things that if you don't like kind of pondering those things, I don't know. We're different people, I guess. I really like thinking about those things. Okay, engineering project is done. So that what was it that just arrived? I actually have to go back and check the news. Which materials? Medium. Okay, medium carbon steel has arrived. Wow, that was so quick. And because some of it didn't arrive, you can see that we have this 128 like vacancy. Let's just take a look at what we have. So we have 2,500 iron on the way. I think we should get more iron, frankly. We have very good percentage chance of getting this iron delivered from the US. And at this point, we kind of want that high percentage chance because, yeah, we're at the point where we just want to fill in the excess, so we don't want to miss on the delivery. All right, so 10 days, this will fill in the remainder. I believe that this is the one we need the most. We got 5,000 more coming here, 10,000 down. So this one's only going to be at 7,500, and everything else is going to be over 10,000. And this one's only barely going to be over 10,000, but it will. Anyway, so we'll give the remainder to iron. Because as far as I know, I mean, I'm going to be producing a lot of these cavalry type tanks. And I've never seen those perform in combat, so that's just a big mystery to me still. We'll see how they do. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe the game ends before you use them. Okay, so let's see. What else do we want to do? Is there anything else we want to like mess around with? I think we have basically the same gun here. We might have a slight... Oh, well, I mean, I guess we can get one of these just for fun. Soft accuracy goes down. This looks like a better option overall. Looks like we get both anyway. Do we want this? It is better reliability. We lose accuracy, but we get rate of fire. You know what? I'm not sure about that. Reliability is good. Accuracy is very important, and rate of fire actually increases, I assume, your ammunition usage. So there's something to be said about not using that. What kind of tech we have? We don't have any tech for this gun. Well, we turn it off for now and then come back at the very end. Yeah, lots of research we can do. So we have rate of fire increases over here as well. This is repairability, which I'm a little bit more okay doing. Rate of fire, this is plus everything except for crew aiming. This is tough. It's a little bit heavier, but it's also less man hours. I think I'll choose that. Okay, a flash suppressor, which is just going to hurt repairability, but it's pretty good stats-wise. And telescopic for hard accuracy, which is always a little bit interesting to have on your machine gun. I guess somehow it helps. Okay, we'll just build this as is. Not a big deal. And max it out, get it another day. So we're just going to equip have some parts ready to go. But probably none of these will actually ever be used. Okay, durable rollers. We got the warehouse loading stations upgrade. So the question would be, like, what would we actually benefit from having? And the thing is, the war is going to start really soon, so, excuse me, we won't actually benefit from having increased stored resources. I don't think. We're really going to be increasing, I think the most important thing is to increase, well, let's do it anyway. I think the most important thing will be to increase the production speed. Is that what I wanted to say? Okay, if we're producing a lot of tanks, then the resources, there'll be a lot of resource like holes for us to fill. Yeah. I think that. Oh, I don't know. I don't. Okay, I take back what I said. I don't think that increasing the production will mitigate the need for additional material storage. It's kind of true. I mean, if you produce them faster, you don't need. You can spend through the materials very quickly. Like, you can put an order of 10 tanks down and then immediately replenish it. But I feel like there's, anyway. Okay, so 2 more days. We do have research we have to redo. Okay, so we did durable rollers. Let's just get right to the Hornet running gear. Excuse me, had a coughing fit, so I'm still not over that, I guess. Yeah, so we want to get there. We have to go through here first. It doesn't really matter how much it's going to take because we're just going to do 40 for it anyway. And that's that. We have 3 more days, so basically I'll allow 1 more design before we call it quits on the other engineering team. Yeah, there are some things we could do here. We could design a better Let me actually look at the research, though. We could design a better small engine. However, is there a improved? No, there actually isn't. So this is the best we could do. You know, I think we don't want to we wouldn't want to redesign it yet. I'd actually want some of these things, like I think I'd want this obstacle slope, optical step, reliability would be another good one. I mean, any of these are pretty good. So yeah, I guess we'll just call the designs like phase to a close. Fire our engineers. We have 50 available, so whenever we need them again, they're there. And 2 more days on the production. Okay, good. So that's going to make things a lot easier, so we don't have to worry about designing all the time. All right, 75%. Well, I can tell you that 4/5, 80% is 2,000. So we're, again, not close. We're almost at 75%, quite unfortunately. The iron was not good. I'm just trying to look to see if we're halfway between, if we're in the good quadrant, good coin flip or bad coin flip, and this is another bad coin flip. 87.5% would be the magic number, and 87.5 is somewhere around 2,200, so we did not get there. All right, now this is very big. What World War I Western Front has emerged. World War I has begun. Let's read this. A first global conflict, the World War, has started. For the time being, it is limited only to the European war theater. Unfortunately, we are receiving multiple signals that the conflict will soon be joined by even more powers, and it is likely that war will soon expand to all other regions. The stakes are very high, and we have no room for mistake. Make sure to leave enough upgrade potential in your tanks to adopt them for the upcoming challenges and new campaigns. So the only thing we could do if I wanted to, but I don't really know. I mean, this is something in the future, the next gameplay. The next series will be better, right? I know that's for sure a fact. I mean, the gameplay is changing constantly, so if nothing else, the next gameplay series will be much different, just because the way the game is changing. So I think we're okay to keep our given designs, but there's no, as far as I can tell, as far into the future as I got in my other series, there's no room for future designs of the 2 that we've already made, which is the Mark I prototype or the Mark V prototype. The only thing we have is this medium cavalry roll. So if we have a chance to design something else and submit those, that would be great. But it won't happen in this episode, at least. Okay, so we've cut our extra engineers. After July, we'll hire a lot more workers, and then we're just going to become a tank producing place, which is cool. So we're switching gears from research. Research will still happen, but we're switching gears from design to production. And that makes sense from any product development cycle. You're going to have your initial research and development, and then you're going to have your production. So we're doing that. We're switching gears. All right, so 4 days on that, 1 day on this, and then we got to fire those off because again, we only have 10 days left. So even though it'll say 9 days left, and it takes those trucks only 7 days to deliver. Okay, so actually we're at 46,970. How did that happen? Not sure. All right, good. So we finished those 3 productions. We finished those 3 tanks, and we need to ship them out. So it says here 9 days before the contract is over, which means it looks like we have enough time, right? It takes 7 days to get there. Ship them out. So that means we should finish 2 days before the contract, right? But the contract is due on the 7th, right? Anyway, maybe they don't have the correct number of days in July or something. I don't know. Let's figure out what's going on here. New production. So now that we have the new design, man, I'm scratching my head. The thing is, we made this design pretty good. The only real room for improvement, and okay, you know what? I'm gonna do it. We're gonna redesign it, and we're gonna make it a little bit better. Okay, materials prices. So this is something I knew would happen. We prepped accordingly. Material prices have increased, which means that all of our big purchases were very conveniently timed. By the way, I do like the fact that the same thing happens every time when you choose the historical campaign. It makes a lot of sense. It does mean that we'll be able to predict the future. What we need to know, tell ourselves is, it would be, the game balance it has to be based on a first-time player's perspective. So if we're like, you know, jumping the gun on all of these things and the game and we're doing really well, that's kind of like if somebody had a crystal ball, they would do really well. So just it makes sense. So I don't know, from a game difficulty standpoint, I think that I should probably be, you know, this is like if we played on hard difficulty, it would be more fair since we already know everything that's going to happen. Okay, so 2 more days and then I'll hire these guys. Alright, so we got almost all of our high carbon steel, which is great. We were expecting that anyways because 98%. Actually, the most important thing about not losing the high carbon steel is that there's no more we can buy anyway. Alright, research is done, and a new doctrine is actually done. So this is kind of interesting. They have doctrines now. Tanks are intended to work together with the heavily armed males protected by females, whose weapons offer greater all-around firepower. Infantry assaulting a given tank were also exposed to fire from other nearby vehicles, provided the tanks remain concentrated. On the negative side, tanks must move in small formations with the slowest tank limiting the mobility of the company. So when this is employed, we get a 10% bonus to accuracy, a 10% bonus to range, and a 10% bonus to rate of fire. That's pretty good. I'm not sure if that matches exactly what the text says, but it's fine. It's just a thing which has its own benefits. And there's also strategic mobility. Tanks are to be transported as close to the front line as possible. This will avoid unnecessary losses due to breakdowns and decrease the maintenance burden on logistics units. Smaller tanks can be transported with the help of trucks, but for heavier models we must rely on the railways. In order to fit on standard flatbed rail wagons, sponsons and other components that increase the width of the tank must be removed first and then remounted again upon arrival. So this increases the reliability by 5%, the repair ability, no. Oh, okay, so reliability of running gear, reliability of engines, and the range by 20%. Got it. So is this hard or soft? Just primary weapons, which is probably... Well, I don't know. It just says primary weapons. I don't know if that counts as the machine guns on like something like the secondary tanks or the female turrets, but anyway. So these numbers, by the way, we see the 16 and the 5. Those are actually the ones that go to war. They don't fill in the full 20, which is a little sad. I mean, you can see here that we would have up to 40 of these. I wish that we could produce more and then continue to deliver them. Maybe that's a mechanic that, you know, will be put in place or something. Actually, I'm not even sure. I since I don't have a contract, I assume that building another one of those doesn't pay dividends at all. And if they were to ask for a new contract, what we'd be better off doing is designing a new tank. Okay, so 67 workers, that's fine. We'll make it one more day. Oh, we got some research to do. So, what did I just finish? Take a look. Improve tracked adjustments. Improve track adjustments. There it is. Okay, so we have the better running gear. Okay, that's good. Yeah. And again, doesn't matter. We'll just put all 40 on here. And then production. Okay. Well, it's the first, so let's go ahead and hire everyone. I think I'll just take all 50. Just get this done in a timely fashion. There is a lot of tanks that we want to build. So we got 13 for now, and then what are we limited by? Rubber. Okay, so we need to buy more rubber, but you know, as soon as we... This will take 18 days. As soon as we hit... Well, let me actually not build all 13 though. Let's build 10 for now. So this is less than 10 days? Wait, am I crazy? I am, yeah. 14 days, not bad. Okay, we didn't lose, you know, we're doing okay. So we'll get 14 days. In 14 days, we'll have 10 more of the... 10 of... Not more. We don't have any. But 10 of these medium light whippets. And that'll satisfy one contract at least. Then we can decide if we want to put it into another contract or not. I'm still assuming that we win the contract because... Did I submit it yet? Yeah, we submitted it. So this one has a like 60 something, 65, 68 rating, and I believe the competition for this, if I remember, was like 35 to 63. At least that's the number I remember from the contract where you actually they're purchasing the tanks, and the numbers probably do change between those two. But okay, we have 6 days, but we have all of our tanks are already on the way to be delivered. Yeah, 4 more days, and then we should be okay. So we should finish 2 days ahead of time, right? Maybe I just did something wrong. I mean, it was a different. So I probably didn't line up the times correctly in that playthrough versus this one. All right, so we got this, and it says 26 of these we'll need. We see that that wasn't exactly the case for the current batch of contracts. It said something like 50 Mark 1 prototypes, and we only built, what, 16 or whatever. They only asked for 20. So, all right. Yeah, this will be simple. We just keep moving on then. And this is why we'll move them a lot faster now. All right, materials delivered, a little bit of iron. Most of it was delivered. That's probably, yeah, that's about in the middle. All right, rubber was delivered. Actually, a lot of it did arrive, considering the 50%. This is over 75%, so we finally got a good coin flip. And we completed our contract. Fantastic. $160,000, or pounds in our case. Yeah, I mean, British, right? So we did it. And yeah, obviously we did it because we delivered them. And this was 2 days ahead of time. So we good. We had 2 days cushion. That's fantastic. We're still building the new ones. Honestly, now, even though the price of everything has just gone up a ton, what we want to do is probably start purchasing more materials. Let me go back and see what the price, or not the material cost of this tank is, because we'll be building a lot of it. All right, so it's the most important to get rubber and medium carbon steel. I think we're gonna have to just go and keep buying more rubber. That's what if we want to purchase more of these, I mean, build more of these tanks, we'll have to do all this. So I think we'll just take all the rest that China has. It'll take 14 days for this to get here, but and it's obviously a lot more expensive now than it was, but we can afford it. Obviously, we just won this contract. 330,000. This is a very even number. Did we hit like a ceiling or something? Or did it just work out perfectly? I don't know. Anyway, we'll take all of the remaining rubber, and that'll put us at about the same amount as our medium carbon steel. Alright, and high carbon steel, thankfully we don't need to purchase any more of that because there's none available. Medium carbon steel, do we have anything else we want to purchase? There's still 1,100 available. Alright, let's take that as well. It'll only take 4 days to get here, so we'll know about that pretty soon. Good enough. Okay, so moving on. Oh, yeah, what I should do is, let's close that. Show the battlefield, which is really cool. So here we go. World War I, Western Front, 1914. They're moving the corps, the divisions, whatever around. And here comes our fierce competition. The LK-2. Like tractor, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what LK might mean, but maybe. Or, I mean, is it... What's the Roman numeral for K? I assume that this is not... Well, I don't know what this is. Somebody will probably let me know. They are rookies, by the way. However, what we'll see is eventually our tanks come and they're like trainees, which is terrible. Now they also have this A7V, which is a lot scarier just because it's bigger and has a gun on the front. And this one obviously doesn't. This is like their cavalry tank. So, so it's cool. And then we'll watch the battles being fought over there. All right, research time. I think it would be good to just finish off the running gear. So let's just go ahead and get this one, unless Unless I just get the better hull. No. The other. Oh, okay. So we do have the best hull. I'm trying to think what else we might benefit from with our new, like this cavalry tank. If we did decide to do a revamp of it, that might help a little bit. Light engine components. This would be helpful. This would also be helpful. Okay, let's do this one. I mean, we'll just do both over time. Alright, move on. Alright, most of it came in. This is actually a good ratio, looks to me, compared to the 80%. And one day for our stockpiles to be upgraded. Yeah, so what we could be doing is upgrading more of these things. I didn't really look at all of these, but are we upgrading anything here? We could. Did we already upgrade something? Well, I can always upgrade this. It just decreases costs per month. And I think that there's something like that in administration as well, which just reduced the cost of personnel. So 10% cost of personnel will be, obviously 3,000. And it costs 10,000, so it pays itself back in 4 months. Now it also increases the maintenance by 1,000, but then we'll just do maintenance minus 2,000. Not that we really need all this, but we're kind of like future-proofing. We're making ourselves more efficient. An initial investment up front for long-term benefit. It's the way all these tycoon-type games work. You need that short-term loss for long-term gain type trade-off. Alright, still 7 more days on that, 6 more days on that. Alright, so our warehouse stock has now increased. Obviously, it's not that important considering we're running out of materials to buy. Oh, but I guess we could probably talk ourselves into buying some, unfortunately, pretty expensive stuff. So let's just get more iron. I know it's very expensive, but let's do it. Should we do it? Should we do it? Should we do it? 6 days. That'll be here pretty quick. Alright, let's get some more iron. We're completely almost used up of everything. We maybe need some more of this, so let's see. How much did we just get? Oh my gosh, quite a lot. Really blowing through that money. Get 5,000 more. Alright, 5,000 more of that. It's better to have it on hand than to wait for it, so. Rubber, we have 5,000 on the way. I think we could stand to get maybe like 2,000 more of this. This is so expensive. Oh my gosh, it's so expensive. Okay, let's just get 1,000, which is still 10,000 money. It's quite expensive. Hopefully that'll hold us over. And that was rubber, high carbon steel, can't purchase any more, so good luck to us there. Fair enough. Alright, moving on. 6 days, good. Okay, Company A Regiment is deploying. Now this is actually interesting because now we can start to track them on the field. Unfortunately, this is our Mark I prototype, which is, as we're going to find out, probably not as good. Company A, let me read it. Company A Regiment has now been equipped and is currently being deployed to the front lines of the World War I Western Front. Sorry. Our tanks will soon engage the enemy in upcoming battles, and all our employees are eagerly awaiting the news. Our company's reputation and future depend on that. Make sure to closely follow the reports from the upcoming battles to quickly identify weak spots in the design and come up with an upgrade solution before our competitors do. Remember, High Command will share their reports only for those tank regiments that are equipped with the tanks of our design. Fair enough. Okay, so these guys are deploying, but and we can go click on them here. But so there it is. Company A has materialized on the map. It's a nice looking map too. This game has a lot of polish on it for something which is so early on. Anyway, so this is one of the problems. You can see that the actual number of tanks on the field. I always thought another competitor would fill in the numbers. Or, something would fill in the numbers. Now, I don't know, I assume, okay, so obviously I assume that World War One, the historical campaign, that our tanks cannot affect the outcome of the war. But we can still get plus or minus for, like, the reputation, for, you know, doing well or not. Now, the Mark 1 prototype is going to go up, it was supposed to go up against infantry, it's going to go up against tanks. That's the sad reality of it. So, it's going to get, I don't know, I don't know how much RNG goes into the battle simulations, but at least in my parallel computation, my parallel playthrough, we didn't do that great. We'll see how it goes here. Okay, so we took care of supplies. We have 2 more days before we can get this underway. All right, so Leichter, so that's what LK stands for, the Leichter Kampfwagen. We are receiving alarming reports from our intelligence service. It would seem that the former partner of your father, I think it's father, has changed the allegiance and has now joined the German engineers in their efforts to create a tank. Little is known for sure, but the intelligence service believed that DMC has already developed their very own first tank. Only the name of this project is known to us, Leichter Kampfwagen, but what hides behind this? We will certainly find out soon enough. Okay. So DMC was a rival and is still a rival. And they have this tank, which I would say is, by looks of it, garbage. So that's fine by me. But we can't actually look at it, that's fine. It's using the very German design. I think that we should do okay against that one because it just has machine guns. So tank versus tank, we should come out ahead. But, you know, the results we'll see for ourselves, basically. All right, 10 of those are done. A new design has been announced, and I think that this is when they steal it from us. The competition is fierce, and your competitors aren't going to let you have any easy wins. With the nation on the brink of war, there is a race between those daring and skilled enough to create the next tank to be favored by the government. A new tank model has recently been revealed by a competing company. Naturally, we don't have the specific stats of this new vehicle, but through our insider sources, we were able to receive some pictures, blah, blah, blah. From what we can tell, the competing company is using its engineering potential to the maximum by adopting successful solutions from the other companies, including us. We should increase our security services to avoid possible leakage of technologies. Investigate the obtained photo, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they're saying that they stole this from us. And if they stole anything, I can... Well, yeah, I mean, actually, this looks a lot like my Mark V. So maybe this is the Mark V that we actually made. And that would be interesting from the perspective that if we weren't innovating on the Mark V, we would just be stagnant and they would have the same design as us. Which is kind of not too unreasonable. I mean, there's always going to be little things which, without the blueprints, you won't know. I mean, without the trade secret stuff, you won't know. But you can kind of reverse engineer a lot just by looking at the tank, you know. We have people in these tanks, right? They're training them. They're being deployed onto the military front. So... hard to hide secrets in a military tank that's, you know, accessible to everybody in the military. Or, well, not everybody, but at least it's more public than it was when it was only hiding behind our walls. So let's move on. Iron has arrived. That's good. Light engine components. So research is done. I'm still debating whether or not to research a new thing, but we will make a lot more progress without researching new things. So there's that. Running gear, we have that running gear. So it looks like running gear we're actually like almost completely done. Let's just finish it off. Then we know we can make whatever running gear we want, and that will be the best that we will be able to make. Okay, there's that. We do have some upgrades. Did I already upgrade this? So I feel like this building overview, that upgrading this is important enough so we can build things a little bit faster. So that's 21 days. I think it's worth it. Alright, medium carbon steel has come in. Looks like we lost only 10% of that, so that's another win on the coin flip. Material storage. How are we doing, by the way? Yeah, medium's fine. This looks good. Honestly, rubber still does look important. As soon as this is... Oh, there's no more available. Okay, well, we did the right thing, I think. More rubbers come in. well, it was... Half would have been 2,500, so this is definitely not a coin flip win. The question I have is, when it's lost, does it go back to China? No. So, yeah, it really does suck if you lose it, because there's no more reserves. It's quite bad. And because it's RNG, there's no way for them, the developers, to know. I mean, they can only take the minimum percentage for balancing purposes. But probably in the future, there'll be mechanisms to replenish the amount of resources available. I keep not being certain that I can just click forward. And this was a lot better, obviously 80%, and we got 94, basically 95% of it. Yeah, we got some idle workers, I know. Oh, okay. So we can keep going on our old design. Well, we could get 25 of these. I don't think that there's a need for that many. What I think we could do is get 13, maybe 12. I'm just assuming that it's going to happen the same way. And what happened previously is there was 2 orders, 2 companies made for these. Then if that ends up being the same, then I wish I could cancel that. I wish I could decrease the number. Wait, has this? No, hasn't changed. No, can't. Okay, fine. So I don't think that they're gonna want more than 20. And that means that we are committed now. We won't be able to design a new thing because I just bought 3 more tanks that have to go to the second contract since they won't be accepted in the first. Unless I just want to throw 3 tanks away, which I don't. So, alright, one more day for research. Worker efficiency. Probably should have waited 1 day on that then. Alright, so running gear is done. The engine stuff is almost done. So running gear is completely done. No, there is one down here which I didn't do. So let's just completely take out that category. Alright. Oh, good. So this is cool. Unfortunately, I wish I had more Company B stuff going on. We'll go over here. It's on the Western Front. Let's go over, and I think 1 battle has already been fought. And it has. So this is really cool. We get to see our first battlefield result. Oh my god, is it 47 minutes already? This episode has just flown by. Okay, so let's just do this really quickly. And I may just... Okay, what I'll do is I'll just jump to the outcome, and we'll watch the movie in the beginning of the next episode. Because we just don't have time to watch this whole thing. But we'll go through it in a lot more detail, a lot slower, with all the little rounds and all that. Let's just get to the bottom here. We lost 1 tank. We repaired a tank. And so that's still 1 loss. 1 loss that was recovered. So we're down from 16 to 15, and we didn't kill a single enemy tank. Not a good start. Not a good start at all. But that's what the Mark I prototype was always expected to be, which is not a very good tank. Anyway, this was a fun episode. We'll be looking at more battles as the episodes come in the future episodes. Boy, I'm having a hard time speaking. Let's just wrap it up here, and I'll catch you back for the next one. Like I said, lots of combat in that one. Until then, thanks for watching. Stay safe and take care.